They work hard every day, follow what others expect from them, and forget what truly makes them happy. This message is for anyone who feels tired of living for other people's approval. It is for those who want to start living for themselves. Many people wake up each morning and think, "What will others think of me today?" They choose clothes that others like, not what they love. They pick jobs to make others proud, not because they enjoy them. They say yes when they want to say no. They smile even when they feel sad inside. They live a life that looks good on the outside but feels empty on the inside. This is what it means to live for others, to let their opinions decide your choices. Living for others may seem safe. You don't make anyone angry. You don't disappoint anyone. But deep inside, you lose something important: your freedom. You stop listening to your heart. You forget your dreams. You forget who you are. When you live for others, every step feels heavy because your life is not truly your own. You are walking a path built by someone else's wishes. But when you live for yourself, everything changes. You wake up with energy. You feel proud of your small steps because they are your steps. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need everyone to understand you. You just need to be honest with yourself. Living for yourself does not mean being selfish, it means being real. It means doing what brings peace to your heart, even if others do not always agree. Think about how short life really is. Time moves fast. One day, we are young and full of dreams. Then suddenly, years pass, and we wonder where our time went. Life is not meant to be spent chasing everyone's approval. Life is meant to be lived with purpose, joy, and truth. You deserve to live in a way that feels right to you, not in a way that only looks right to others. In this video, we will explore how to stop living for others and start living for yourself. You will learn how to let go of fear, how to find your true self, and how to live with freedom and purpose. This journey is not about changing who you are. It is about returning to who you have always been. Remember, your life is your story. No one else can live it for you. You have the power to make choices that reflect your heart. You have the right to create a life that feels true and meaningful. Life is short, so do not waste it trying to be someone you are not. Let's start this journey together. Let's discover why we often live for others and how we can finally stop. Section 1. The Trap of Expectations. From a very young age, most people grow up surrounded by voices that tell them what success should look like. Parents tell their children to study hard, get good grades, and find a safe job. Teachers say that the best students become doctors or engineers. Friends talk about money, cars, and fame as signs of success. Society repeats one clear message: a good life means following the same pattern: education, career, marriage, and stability. This message sounds simple, but it builds a quiet trap. People learn to measure their value by what others think. They work hard not because they love what they do, but because they want approval. They fear disappointing their family or looking different from others. Slowly, their dreams become smaller, and their voice becomes quieter. They begin to live someone else's life without realizing it. In many countries, this pattern is strong. A young person finishes school and immediately feels pressure to choose a respected career. Some dream of art, writing, or design, but their parents worry about money and status. The child listens and gives up their passion to study something more stable. Years later, they may have a good salary, but they feel tired and empty. Their days feel long, their smiles forced. The world calls them successful, but inside they feel lost. There are also those who try to please their family in other ways. A woman marries early because her parents expect it. A man stays in his hometown because leaving would upset his relatives. They do what is expected, but a part of them feels heavy. They wake up each day knowing they are living a story that does not belong to them. The emotional cost of these choices is quiet but deep. Many people carry invisible sadness because they live under constant pressure to meet others' expectations. They start to believe that being accepted is more important than being happy. They smile in front of others, but cry alone at night. They tell themselves that they should be grateful. After all, they have what society calls a good life. But the truth is, they feel empty because their heart is not part of their own story. The world often celebrates the wrong things. It celebrates titles, houses, and cars, but forgets to celebrate peace, freedom, and honesty. People who live for appearance often look confident, but inside they fight silent battles. Their hearts whisper dreams they can no longer follow. Their eyes look at the mirror and see someone they do not recognize. Still, there are also those who choose a different road. They listen to the same voices of pressure, but something inside them refuses to stay silent. They decide not to live a life built only on expectations. They take a risk and follow their true path, the one that feels right, not just looks right. Their journey is not easy. People judge them, question them, or laugh at them. But with time, something beautiful happens. They start to feel free. They find meaning in their work, peace in their choices, and strength in their heart. Across the world, there are examples of such people. Some left high-paying jobs to start small cafes, farms, or creative studios. Others chose to live simply, spending more time with nature or helping their community. They may not be rich by society's standards, but they are rich in spirit. They smile from the heart because they are finally living a life that belongs to them. The difference between those trapped by expectations and those free from them is not intelligence or luck. It is courage. It is the courage to say, "This is my life, and I will live it in my own way." It is the courage to disappoint others for a short time so that you do not disappoint yourself forever. Expectations can feel like invisible chains. They tie people to fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being different, fear of failure. This fear controls decisions, dreams, and even emotions. It whispers, if you don't do what others want, you will lose their love. And so, many people continue to follow rules that make them unhappy. But slowly, more people are beginning to see through the illusion. They understand that success without peace is not real success. They see that approval from others cannot replace self-respect. They realize that life is too short to spend pleasing everyone else. When someone decides to break free, it does not mean they stop caring about their family or community. It means they start to balance love for others with love for themselves. They begin to make decisions with both courage and kindness. They work hard, but this time they do it for their own growth, not for someone else's opinion. The moment a person starts living by their own truth, everything changes. Their steps become lighter, their words become honest, their face starts to show real joy. They no longer compare themselves to others. They stop living in the shadow of judgment. They start to live in the light of self-respect. This is the freedom that comes when someone escapes the trap of expectations. It is not about being perfect or rebellious. It is about being real. It is about remembering that every life has its own shape, and no one should try to fit into another person's mold. So many hearts around the world are waiting to feel this freedom. They are tired of pretending, tired of living for approval, tired of wearing masks. They just want to live honestly, to work, love, and dream in their own way. The truth is simple. Life is too short to live only for others. Real peace begins when people start to live for themselves. But what makes it so hard to break free? Why do so many still choose to stay inside the box? The answer begins with something powerful and hidden: fear. Section 2. The fear of judgment. Many people spend their whole lives worrying about what others think. They hold their words, hide their opinions, and stay quiet even when they want to speak. Deep inside, they are afraid of being judged, criticized, or rejected. This fear begins early in life. In school, at home, or at work, people learn that being accepted feels safe and being different feels risky. They start to believe that it is better to stay silent than to face judgment. In classrooms around the world, this fear shows itself every day. A student knows the right answer but keeps quiet because they worry that others might laugh. Another student wants to join a club or try something new, but stops because they fear others will not approve. These small moments may seem simple, but they shape how people grow. Over time, they teach the mind to hide, to avoid mistakes, and to always look for approval before acting. The fear of judgment does not disappear with age. It follows people into adulthood. It makes someone avoid giving their opinion in meetings. It stops them from wearing what they like or sharing their ideas online. It makes them live carefully, always checking if others might think they are strange or foolish. This fear becomes like an invisible cage. No one can see it, but it controls almost every decision. When a person lives in this kind of fear, they forget their own voice. They begin to think, maybe I'm not good enough. They believe they must please everyone to be liked. But the truth is, no one can please everyone. Even the kindest and most successful people are judged. No matter what you do, someone will have an opinion. If you stay silent, people may judge you. If you speak up, they may still judge you. So, if judgment is something that will always exist, why waste your life trying to avoid it? In every part of the world, there are two kinds of people. The first group stays quiet, trying not to be noticed. They wait for the perfect moment, but that moment never comes. They dream of change, but fear stops them. The second group feels the same fear, but they act anyway. They know people might laugh or criticize, but they move forward. These people are not fearless. They are simply brave. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act even when you are scared. When a person takes that first small step despite fear, something magical happens. The world does not end. People may judge for a moment, but then they move on. The person realizes that judgment is only a sound. It cannot truly hurt unless you believe it. Each time you take action, fear becomes smaller. Each time you speak honestly, confidence grows stronger. Building courage does not happen in one day. It is a slow and gentle process. Start small. Share your opinion in a group, even if your voice shakes. Say no politely when something does not feel right. Try something new, a hobby, a hairstyle, a new goal, without worrying about what others will think. Every small act of honesty is like a brick that builds the wall of confidence. For example, imagine you are in a group discussion and everyone agrees on one idea, but you think differently. Instead of staying silent, you can say, "I understand your point, but I see it another way." This simple sentence shows respect and courage. Or, when someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, instead of saying yes quickly, you can smile and say, "I appreciate it, but I can't right now." These small steps may feel difficult at first, but they teach your heart an important lesson. You can be polite and still true to yourself. The world respects honesty more than perfection. People who speak from the heart may face criticism, but they also inspire others. Every time someone acts with courage, they become a light for others who are still trapped in fear. Confidence grows through action, not by waiting for the fear to disappear. The fear of judgment also lives in the mind's imagination. We often believe others are watching or judging us, but in truth, most people are focused on their own lives. Everyone has their own worries, their own problems. When you realize this, fear loses its power. You understand that people's opinions come and go, but your peace should not depend on them. Think about this truth. When people judge you, they are often speaking from their own insecurities. Their words reflect their fears, not your value. Once you understand this, judgment becomes just noise in the background, something you notice but no longer follow. The more you practice courage, the more natural it feels. At first, your heart will beat fast. You will doubt yourself. But with time, you will start to smile after each brave action. You will realize that judgment cannot stop you unless you give it permission. Life begins to feel lighter because you no longer carry the heavy weight of fear. Imagine a world where everyone spoke freely, where everyone lived honestly, without fear of judgment. There would be more creativity, more kindness, and more connection. Every time someone chooses courage, the world moves a little closer to that freedom. It is important to remember that courage is not a gift, it is a practice. Every time you take a small, brave step, you train your mind to be stronger. Every time you face fear, you build a new part of yourself. Soon, you start to live with confidence, not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. The fear of judgment is powerful, but it is not stronger than you. You have the power to rise above it, to speak honestly, and to live with peace. When you understand that you cannot control what others think, you become free. You start to see that your voice, your truth, and your choices are yours alone. When we stop fearing judgment, we start discovering who we really are. Section 3. Discovering who you really are. There comes a moment in everyone's life when they start to ask, who am I really? Not who others think they are, not who society expects them to be, but who they truly are inside. Many people live years, even decades, without asking this question. They wake up, follow routines, work jobs they do not love, and try to please others. But deep inside, there is a quiet voice that whispers, "This is not me." Discovering who you really are is not about changing yourself. It's about remembering yourself, the real you, before fear, expectations, and pressure took over. It begins with slowing down and asking gentle questions. What makes me happy? What gives me peace? What makes me feel alive? These questions sound simple, but answering them honestly takes courage, because often the truth will lead you to paths that others might not understand. Imagine a young woman named Anna. For years, she followed a path that others created for her. Her parents wanted her to study business, so she did. Her friends valued expensive things, so she tried to keep up. She smiled in photos, but every night she felt empty. One day, she found an old notebook where she used to write stories as a child. Reading her words brought tears to her eyes. She realized that writing, not business, was what made her heart come alive. That moment was not dramatic. It was quiet, soft, and real. Anna did not quit her job the next day or run away from her responsibilities. Instead, she began writing again, one page every evening. Slowly, she felt like herself again. She discovered that happiness is not found in approval or success. It is found in honesty. When you do what you love, your energy changes. You walk differently. You breathe differently. You start to glow. This story may sound simple, but it carries a powerful truth. Many people live lives that are not their own. They wear masks to fit in. They follow paths to make others proud, and they silence their dreams because they are afraid of being different. But here is the truth. You are not born to copy someone else's life. You are born to live your own. Living with purpose means waking up with a sense of direction. It doesn't mean you have all the answers. It simply means you know what matters to you. A person who knows their purpose walks through life with quiet confidence. They may still feel afraid, but they move forward with clarity. On the other hand, a person without direction often feels lost. They move from one thing to another, always searching for meaning, but never feeling satisfied. To begin your own journey of self-discovery, you don't need big steps. You just need honest moments. Try journaling for 10 minutes a day. Write about what makes you smile, what drains your energy, and what you dream of doing if no one could judge you. Let the words flow freely. You might be surprised by what you find. Sometimes, silence is the best teacher. Turn off your phone for a while, take a walk alone, or sit quietly by a window. Ask yourself, am I living the life I truly want? Listen carefully. Your heart always answers, even if your mind tries to ignore it. The more time you spend with yourself, the clearer you become. It's okay if you don't have everything figured out right now. No one truly does. Self-discovery is not a race. It is a lifelong journey. You will grow, change, and evolve. What matters most is that you stay honest with yourself through every season of life. There will be times when the world tells you who you should be, what career to choose, how to act, what success means. But remember this: you are not what others want you to be. You are what your heart tells you to be. When you listen to that inner voice, life begins to feel lighter. You stop comparing yourself to others because you finally understand that your path is different. Think of people who live with purpose. They may not always be rich or famous, but they radiate peace. Their energy feels strong and calm. They are not trying to impress anyone. They are simply being themselves. That is the real definition of success: to wake up every day and live in alignment with your values. You might ask, but what if my true self doesn't fit with what others expect? The answer is simple, but powerful. That's okay. It's better to be disliked for being real than to be loved for being fake. When you stop pretending, you create space for people who truly see and appreciate you. The right people will be drawn to your truth, not your mask. As you continue this journey, remember that self-discovery requires patience. You may face confusion, doubt, and even sadness. But every question you ask brings you closer to your real self. Every time you choose honesty over approval, your light grows stronger. Try this simple exercise tonight. Before you sleep, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What made me feel most alive today? 2. What drained my energy today? 3. What do I wish I could do more often? Write your answers without judgment. Over time, you will start to see patterns. The things that truly matter to you will appear again and again. Those are clues to who you really are. Remember, discovering yourself is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real. The world needs people who are alive, not just existing. The world needs your truth, your passion, and your light. Don't bury them under fear or expectation. So take a deep breath. Listen to your heart. You already have the answers. They've been inside you all along, waiting for you to listen. But knowing who you are is not enough. You must also learn to say no. Section 4. The power of saying no. There is one small word that can completely change your life. It has only 2 letters, but it carries great power. That word is no. Many people fear saying it because they think it will make others angry or disappointed. But the truth is, learning to say no is one of the strongest acts of self-respect. It is a step toward freedom, peace, and real happiness. Most people grow up believing that being kind means always saying yes. They agree to every request, every favor, and every invitation, even when they are tired or busy. They smile on the outside, but inside they feel heavy and trapped. They want to rest, focus, or take care of themselves, but guilt stops them. They worry that saying no will make them look rude or selfish. Yet, the more they say yes to everything, the more they lose themselves. Think of a young man named Daniel. He is friendly, hardworking, and always ready to help. When his co-workers ask him to stay late, he says yes. When his friends invite him out, even when he's tired, he says yes. When his family needs something, he drops everything to help. At first, everyone praises him for being so helpful. But over time, Daniel begins to feel empty. His energy fades. His dreams are forgotten. He spends his life pleasing others, but never himself. Now imagine another person, Sarah. She is also kind and caring, but she has learned to protect her time. When her boss asks her to take on extra work, she checks her schedule first. If she can't, she politely says, "I'm sorry, I have other tasks I need to finish first." When her friends invite her out on a day she feels tired, she smiles and says, "Thank you for inviting me, but I need to rest tonight." She respects her limits, and because of that, she feels calm and balanced. These 2 lives show a clear contrast. One person always saying yes and slowly losing control, the other saying no with kindness and gaining peace. The difference is not about selfishness, it's about self-awareness. Saying no does not mean you stop caring about people. It means you start caring about yourself too. When you say yes to everything, you fill your life with noise. You give your time to things that don't truly matter. But when you learn to say no, you create space. Space for what you love. Space for what inspires you. Space for what truly matters. This space is where your real life begins to grow. In simple English, here are a few gentle ways to say no politely. I'm sorry, I can't right now. Thank you for asking, but I have other plans. I really appreciate it, but I'm not able to do that. That sounds great, but I need to focus on my own goals right now. You don't need to explain too much or apologize again and again. A kind, honest no is enough. People who truly respect you will understand. At first, saying no may feel uncomfortable. You might feel guilty or afraid. But remember, guilt fades while peace remains. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve your growth, you say yes to something that does. You say yes to your rest, your dreams, your time, and your happiness. Think of your energy like a battery. If you give it away to everyone all the time, it will soon run out. But if you protect it, recharge it, and use it wisely, you can shine longer and brighter. Saying no is how you protect that energy. It's how you stay strong enough to give your best to the people and goals that truly matter. There is also another truth. People will test your boundaries. Some may try to make you feel bad for saying no. They may say, "You've changed," or "You're not the same anymore." But remember, growth always looks like change. The people who truly care for you will learn to respect your limits. And those who don't respect them were never supporting your real self to begin with. Let's look at what happens inside you when you start saying no. You begin to feel lighter. You start sleeping better, thinking clearer, and smiling more. You no longer feel like a prisoner of others' needs. You become the driver of your own life again. You start to choose what deserves your attention and what doesn't. In every day of your life, you will face small moments of choice. Someone might ask for your time, your help, your attention. Before answering, pause and ask yourself, is this good for me? If the answer is no, it's okay to say no. You don't need to feel sorry for protecting your peace. Remember, your time is your life. Every yes you give takes a piece of your time, your energy, and your focus. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. So, give it wisely. Choose what adds meaning and happiness to your days. When you say no to things that don't align with your values, you open the door for things that do. You start to meet people who respect your choices. You find time to do the work that fulfills you. You begin to live with clarity instead of confusion. The power of saying no is the power of self-respect. It teaches others how to treat you. It reminds you that your needs matter too. And slowly, as you practice, you'll see how beautiful life becomes when you stop pleasing everyone and start honoring yourself. So take a moment to think. What are you saying yes to that you really want to say no to? What could your life look like if you had the courage to choose differently? When you say no to what doesn't matter, you create space for what truly does. And in that space, you begin to discover something even more powerful: the art of protecting your energy and time for the life you truly want to live. Let's talk about how that energy shapes your world and how protecting it changes everything. Section 5. Living with purpose, not for approval. Life becomes truly beautiful when we start living for a purpose, not for applause. So many people today chase approval, likes on social media, praise from others, and words of validation that make them feel seen. They do things not because they love them, but because they want others to say, "Wow, you're amazing." Yet when the applause stops, they feel empty again. Living for approval is like running in circles. No matter how fast you go, you never really move forward. True happiness comes when we live with purpose. A life of purpose means waking up each day knowing why you do what you do. It means your actions come from your heart, not from fear or pressure. You stop asking, "Will they like me?" and start asking, "Does this feel right for me?" That shift changes everything. Imagine a young woman named Lena. For many years, she worked in an office job that looked perfect on the outside. A stable salary, a nice title, and respect from her family. People called her successful, but she didn't feel happy. Every morning, she felt heavy walking into work. Her days were filled with tasks that didn't excite her, and every night, she came home tired and lost. One day, she looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, "Is this the life I really want?" That simple question changed her path. Lena always loved art, but she had buried that dream to make others proud. Slowly, she began painting again after work. She posted her art online, not for fame, but for joy. Months later, people started noticing her talent. Eventually, she left her job and began working as a freelance artist. The money was less at first, but her heart felt full. She was no longer living for praise, she was living for purpose. That is the power of listening to your inner voice. Purpose gives meaning even to small steps. It makes hard work feel lighter, because it connects you to something deeper than applause. It fills your life with direction and peace. Let's look at the contrast. There are two ways to live, one for approval and one for purpose. The first way is filled with pressure. People who live for approval always think, "What will others think?" They fear mistakes because they want to look perfect. They post photos not to share joy, but to get attention. They compare their lives to others and never feel good enough. Every decision is guided by what will make others clap. The second way, living with purpose, feels completely different. People who live with purpose do not need constant praise. They work quietly, with focus and joy. They know their worth does not depend on likes or opinions. Their satisfaction comes from progress, not from applause. Even when nobody notices their effort, they keep going because they believe in their path. That belief is their strength. Living for approval is about ego. Living for purpose is about heart. When we chase approval, we become tired and anxious. But when we follow purpose, we become calm and alive. The world does not need more people trying to impress others. It needs more people brave enough to be real. If you want to live with purpose, start small. Ask yourself simple questions. What makes me feel excited? What activity makes time disappear for me? What kind of life would make me feel proud at the end of my days? These questions open the door to your real self. You don't need to have all the answers today. Purpose is not something you find in one moment. It grows slowly, step by step. Maybe your purpose is to help others. Maybe it's to create. Maybe it's to teach, build, or care. Whatever it is, listen to it. Trust it. You don't need everyone to understand your dream. You just need to believe in it. When you live with purpose, you begin to shine in your own way. People may not always agree with your choices. Some may even laugh or doubt you. But that's okay. They don't have to understand. It's not their journey, it's yours. The world will always have opinions, but your purpose comes from your heart, not from noise. Take small steps toward what you love. If you love writing, write a few lines each day. If you love music, practice a few minutes every morning. If you dream of helping people, start with one small act of kindness. You don't need a big start, you just need to start. Purpose grows through consistency. Each small action adds light to your life. There will be days when you doubt yourself, when you think, maybe I should just do what others expect. But in those moments, remind yourself, applause fades, but purpose stays. The world forgets trends, but a meaningful life never loses its shine. Living for purpose also changes the way you see success. Success is no longer about what you have, but who you become. It's about peace in your heart, not numbers on a screen. It's about doing something that feels right, even when it's hard. Remember, approval is a trap. It looks sweet, but it takes away your freedom. Purpose may be harder at first, but it gives you power. It gives your life direction and meaning. Every person has a purpose, even if they don't see it yet. Sometimes it hides under fear, under doubt, or under old expectations. But it's always there, waiting for you to listen. So take a moment today and think. Are you living for approval or for purpose? Are you chasing applause, or are you building something real? The answer to that question can change your whole life. Once you start living for purpose, you no longer need to chase anything. The right people, opportunities, and peace will begin to find you naturally. Because when you follow your true calling, you stop pretending and start living. You stop acting for others and start creating a life that feels real. And as you move forward with purpose, there is one more step to take: letting go of the past that still holds you back. Let's explore that next. Section 6. Letting go of the past. The past can be a heavy thing to carry. Many people walk through life with invisible weight, guilt, regret, shame, or sadness from what once happened. They replay old mistakes in their minds again and again, wishing they could go back and fix them. But no matter how hard they try, the past does not change. It becomes a wall that blocks their growth, keeping them from living freely in the present. Everyone has moments they wish they could erase, words they shouldn't have said, chances they didn't take, people they hurt, or paths they regret choosing. These memories can become chains that hold us down. But here is a truth that many forget. You cannot grow while holding on to what is gone. The past is a lesson, not a life sentence. You are not your mistakes. You are your next choice. Think of a man named David. In his younger years, he made choices that hurt his career and his family. For many years, he carried guilt in his heart. Every time something went wrong, he told himself, "I don't deserve happiness." He stopped trying new things because he thought he didn't deserve another chance. He lived quietly, afraid to hope again. His past became his prison. But one day, David realized something simple, yet powerful. He could not change what had already happened, but he could decide what to do next. So, he began small. He forgave himself. He started helping others who had made similar mistakes, teaching them how to move forward. The more he helped, the lighter he felt. Slowly, he began to smile again. He discovered that forgiveness is not saying the past was right. It's saying the past no longer controls you. Now imagine another person, Emma. She also had a painful past, but instead of letting it stop her, she used it as fuel. She looked at her mistakes and asked, "What can I learn from this?" She didn't run from her story. She accepted it. And through that acceptance, she grew stronger. While David's life was trapped by regret, Emma's life bloomed through forgiveness. The difference between the two was not what happened to them, but how they responded. This is the contrast between two lives, one stuck in old pain and one free and growing. The first keeps looking back, the second looks forward. The first repeats the same story, the second writes a new one. The truth is, we all have both choices inside us. We can stay in the past, or we can learn from it and begin again. Sometimes people hold on to the past because it feels safe. The pain becomes familiar. They fear that letting go means forgetting what happened. But letting go does not mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself. It means saying, yes, that happened, but it does not define who I am anymore. Forgiving yourself is one of the hardest but most powerful acts of healing. It takes courage to look at your old self and say, I forgive you. It means understanding that you did your best with what you knew then. Now, you know better, so you can do better. The past cannot be changed, but the future is always open. Every new day is a clean page waiting for your words. You don't need to carry the same story forever. You can write a different ending. Take a quiet moment today. Think about something from your past that still hurts. Maybe it's a mistake, a missed chance, or a relationship that ended. Close your eyes and tell yourself gently, I forgive myself for not knowing better then. I choose peace now. It might not fix everything immediately, but with time, your heart will begin to heal. You see, holding on to guilt doesn't make you stronger. It makes you stuck. It keeps your eyes on what is behind you, while life is waiting in front of you. The longer you focus on what cannot be changed, the more you miss what can still be created. Letting go also means forgiving others. Sometimes the people who hurt us are no longer around to say sorry. Sometimes they never will. But carrying anger toward them only hurts you, not them. Forgiveness does not mean they were right. It means you refuse to let their actions control your peace any longer. A heart full of regret cannot grow, but a heart that forgives, both others and itself, becomes open to love, learning, and life again. The moment you stop fighting the past, you start creating your future. Remember this, you are not your past. You are your next choice. You are your next step. You are your next word. Every sunrise is proof that life always gives second chances. People often say, the past made me who I am. That's true, but it doesn't have to decide who you become next. You can take the lessons and leave the pain. You can take the wisdom and leave the guilt. When you let go of the past, you begin to see beauty again. The air feels lighter. The world looks new. You start to laugh more, love more, and live more fully. You finally feel ready to move forward, not as the person who made mistakes, but as the person who learned from them. Letting go is not weakness. It is strength. It takes more courage to move on than to stay stuck. It is a quiet strength, the kind that grows from peace, not from pain. So, take a deep breath and release what no longer serves you. You don't need to fix the past, you only need to forgive it. What matters now is what you do next. How you use your time, your energy, your heart. When you free yourself from the past, you can finally start living fully in the present. And once you begin living in the present, something beautiful starts to happen. You begin to build the future you truly want. Let's explore how living in the present can transform your life. Section 7. The freedom of living authentically. Living authentically is one of the most powerful experiences a person can have. It means doing what feels right, speaking your truth, and following your heart, even when it is not easy. It is a life without masks, without pretending, without hiding who you are. Yet many people spend years pretending to be someone they are not, acting in ways they think others will approve of, dressing how they think they should, or saying things they do not mean. This pretending may feel safe, but it is also heavy and exhausting. Imagine two people in the same room. The first person smiles and laughs at jokes they do not find funny. They say yes to things they do not want to do. They wear clothes to fit in and hide their true style. On the outside, they seem happy and confident, but inside, they feel tired, empty, and trapped. Every day they give their energy to appearances instead of to themselves. The second person looks different. They wear what they like, even if it is unusual. They speak honestly, even if someone disagrees. They share their feelings and follow their passions, even if others do not understand. This person may face criticism at first, but they feel light, strong, and alive. Every action comes from a place of truth. Their confidence does not come from approval. It comes from knowing they are being real. There are real-life stories that show how beautiful life can be when a person chooses authenticity. Consider a woman named Maria. For years, she worked in a corporate office, following rules, wearing formal clothes, and hiding her love for music and painting. She thought no one would understand her hobbies, so she kept them secret. She smiled politely at work, but every day she felt a little smaller, a little less alive. One day, Maria decided to make a change. She started small, wearing colors she liked instead of gray suits, playing music at home again, sharing her art online. At first, she felt nervous. People noticed and asked questions. Some laughed, but she ignored them. Slowly, she began to feel lighter. She realized she was happier than she had been in years. For the first time, she was living in a way that felt true to her heart. Her confidence grew naturally, not because anyone approved, but because she accepted herself fully. Living authentically has many benefits. It frees your mind from the constant worry of judgment. It allows your energy to flow to what truly matters. It builds real confidence because it comes from honesty, not imitation. People who live authentically are not perfect, but they are whole, they are real, and that reality shines in everything they do. Practical steps can help anyone start living authentically. First, pay attention to your feelings. Notice when something feels wrong or uncomfortable. That feeling is often a signal from your heart. Second, express yourself honestly. Speak kindly but truthfully. If something bothers you, say it gently. If something excites you, share it openly. Third, follow your personal style. Dress how you like, decorate your space how you want, and choose hobbies and activities that bring joy, not approval. Fourth, practice small acts of courage daily. Each time you choose truth over comfort, your authenticity grows. Authenticity also means saying no when something does not feel right. It means protecting your time, energy, and values. It means choosing people, work, and activities that support your true self. When you stop living for others' expectations, your life feels lighter, and your heart feels freer. The contrast between pretending and being authentic is clear in daily life. Pretending may win temporary approval or praise, but it drains energy and joy. Being authentic may challenge others at first, but it brings lasting peace and satisfaction. People who live authentically inspire others because their courage shows what is possible. They create a ripple effect. One person being true can encourage many others to do the same. Another tip is to surround yourself with people who accept the real you. Those who value your honesty, your passions, and your heart. People who encourage masks may hold you back. Choose relationships that celebrate authenticity, and your growth will accelerate naturally. Remember, authenticity is not about being loud or dramatic. It is quiet, gentle, and steady. It is about living with integrity, aligning your actions with your feelings and beliefs. You do not need everyone to approve. Approval may come, but it is not the goal. The goal is freedom. Freedom to be yourself fully, without fear, without compromise. Small daily habits help authenticity become natural. Speak your mind respectfully. Express your feelings instead of hiding them. Do small things that bring joy. Take time for hobbies and activities that excite your soul. Each small choice strengthens your ability to live truthfully. Authenticity also improves how you relate to others. When you are real, people sense it. They trust you. Your relationships become deeper and more meaningful because they are built on honesty. Pretending may bring superficial friends, but authenticity attracts connection that lasts. The power of living authentically is that it reconnects you to your heart. It allows your energy to flow, your creativity to grow, and your confidence to shine. Life becomes simpler and more joyful because you no longer waste energy hiding. You live with clarity, peace, and purpose. When you live true to yourself, something magical happens. You inspire others too. Your courage to be real gives others permission to be real. Your joy and confidence show that life is better when you stop pretending. You do not need fame, money, or constant praise to live authentically. All you need is honesty with yourself, respect for your heart, and the courage to act on it. Being authentic is a choice you can make every day. Start small, stay consistent, and notice the freedom that grows with each decision. The world may not always understand, but your life becomes brighter, lighter, and more meaningful. The real magic begins when you stop trying to be what others expect and start being who you truly are. Section 8. Inspiring others by being yourself. When a person chooses to follow their own path, they do more than change their own life. They inspire others without even trying. Living authentically, with courage and honesty, sends a silent message to the world. It is possible to be yourself and be strong. People notice, even if quietly, and feel hope for their own lives. One person's courage can ripple outward, encouraging many others to step into their truth. Think of a young teacher named Alex. He loved painting, but always felt pressured to focus only on his teaching career. At first, he kept his hobby private, afraid of judgment. But one day he brought a small painting he had made to his classroom. He showed it to his students, saying simply, "I made this for fun." At first, some students laughed quietly, but most were curious. They saw the joy on his face as he explained his work. Slowly, several students began drawing and painting too. They realized it was okay to explore what they loved. Alex didn't plan to inspire anyone. He just followed his heart. but by being true to himself, he gave others courage to be themselves as well. This is the power of leading by example. People learn more from what you do than what you say. A life lived in fear, full of pretending and caution, teaches others that it is safer to hide, to follow rules, and to suppress dreams. But a life lived with honesty, courage, and authenticity tells a completely different story. It says, you can be yourself, and life can still be beautiful. Contrast two ways of leading. One person leads by fear, always worrying about what others think, never taking risks, always saying yes to please everyone. Their life may appear smooth, but it is silent and uninspiring. Others may admire the safety they maintain, but feel discouraged about their own courage. The second person leads by example, acting in alignment with their values, embracing mistakes as learning, and showing joy in pursuing their dreams. People watch this life and feel hope, realizing that courage is possible. Courage does not need to be dramatic. Small acts have large impact. Sharing a dream with a friend, trying something new even if it scares you, or helping someone see their own potential. These are all forms of inspiration. Every small act of honesty and bravery shows that being yourself is valuable. Another example comes from a young volunteer named Priya. She had always been quiet and shy, afraid to speak up. But she wanted to help children in her community learn to read. One day, she started teaching just one child at a time. At first, she worried others would think she wasn't qualified. Slowly, her confidence grew. Other volunteers noticed her dedication and began helping more children. Her small step, born from honesty about her desire to help, sparked a wave of action. Priya didn't need a large audience to make a difference. Her courage alone inspired change. This shows an important truth. You don't need to change the whole world to make an impact. You only need to be yourself. By living authentically and pursuing what matters to you, you naturally give others permission to do the same. Your actions, your honesty, your joy, and your persistence become a quiet guide for those around you. Small daily choices matter. When you express your true feelings instead of hiding them, you show others that vulnerability is okay. When you follow your dreams, even in small ways, you show others that hope is worth holding. When you help someone take a first step toward their own goals, you multiply your influence. These actions may seem minor, but they create ripples that spread far beyond what you can see. It is also important to understand that inspiring others is not about perfection. People are inspired not by flawless lives, but by real lives, lives that struggle, make mistakes, learn, and continue. Showing that courage is possible even with fear, showing that growth is possible even after failure, is more powerful than any speech or advice. Self-honesty is contagious. When you are honest about your feelings, your dreams, and your limits, people around you feel safer to do the same. Confidence spreads, positivity spreads. A community of courage grows quietly, step by step, from one person to another. Mentor advice: you do not need a stage, a title, or a grand audience. Your life itself is a lesson. When you live true to yourself, you are already changing lives. You give permission for others to explore their passions, to speak their truth, and to chase their dreams. One act of courage is enough to create a wave. Think about it. Every person who ever inspired you was probably just being themselves. They followed what mattered to them, even when it was difficult or lonely. Their honesty and persistence spoke louder than words. And that is exactly what you can do. You do not need to perform or impress. You just need to be real. Every time you share your joy, your passion, or your story, you plant seeds of hope. Those seeds may grow slowly, but they will grow. People remember the courage they see in others, and that memory encourages them to take their own steps. In this way, living authentically is not just freedom for yourself. It is a gift to the world. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect or to lead thousands of people. The goal is to live honestly and courageously, allowing your light to shine. Others will notice, and slowly, quietly, they will find the courage to shine as well. So take small steps, speak your truth, follow your heart, show kindness and courage, share your dreams, even if they seem small. Every action matters. Every honest choice matters. You may not see the effect immediately, but it is happening, quietly and powerfully. You don't need to change the world. Just be yourself, and that already changes lives. Every smile, every word, every step toward authenticity can inspire someone else to do the same. Your courage becomes a ripple, touching hearts in ways you may never fully see. And finally, remember, life is short. Let's talk about what that really means. Section 9. Life is short. Make it count. Time moves faster than most people realize. Childhood feels long at first, full of games, laughter, and discovery. But then the years seem to fly. Youth brings energy, opportunity, and dreams, yet it often passes while people are waiting for permission, approval, or the right moment. Adulthood comes with responsibilities, routines, and obligations, and suddenly, years have gone by without truly living. Many realize too late that they spent precious time trying to meet other people's expectations instead of following their own hearts. Consider a man named Thomas. For decades, he lived his life doing what others wanted. He worked jobs he did not enjoy, married because it was expected, and spent weekends pleasing family and friends. He never took risks, never chased his dreams, and never spoke his truth. One evening, looking at old photos of himself as a young man, Thomas suddenly understood how much time he had lost. He felt sadness, regret, and longing all at once. Years of life had passed while he was living someone else's story. That realization was painful but powerful. It sparked a change in him. Finally, he wanted to live for himself, even if time was short. This story shows a clear contrast between two ways of living. One path is passive, simply reacting to life, following routines, and giving control to others. It may feel safe at first, but it slowly steals your energy, joy, and freedom. The other path is active, choosing daily to live fully, pursuing dreams, speaking truth, forgiving, and loving. That path may feel uncertain or challenging, but it brings life, excitement, and meaning. The truth is simple. Life is short, and every day matters. One day, time will run out, but today is still yours. Every moment you hesitate, every opportunity you ignore, is a moment lost. You cannot go back and recover it, but you can choose now, this very day, to live differently. You can speak your truth, follow your dreams, and make choices that honor your heart. Think of a young woman named Layla. She spent years studying and working to meet her family's expectations, even though her passion was photography. She felt proud when people praised her, but inside, she felt empty. One day, she picked up a camera she had not touched in years and started taking photos again. Slowly, her heart came alive. She realized that the approval of others was never as valuable as the joy of doing what she loved. Each photograph became a small rebellion, a reminder that her life was her own. She began sharing her work online, connecting with people who appreciated her creativity. By choosing to live fully, Layla found freedom, happiness, and purpose. Living fully does not require dramatic changes overnight. It begins with small steps. Start by forgiving someone you have held anger toward. Speak honestly to a friend or colleague. Take one small action toward a dream you have ignored. Each small step adds up. Time may be limited, but the power of now is enormous. Many people fear taking action because they think it is too late, or that they need perfection before starting. But life does not wait. Perfection is an illusion. Waiting for the right moment is a trap. Every day you delay is a day that will never return. The courage to start, even imperfectly, is what makes life count. Contrast someone who waits for the perfect moment with someone who takes action today. The first person may live with regret, constantly imagining what could have been. The second person may make mistakes, face challenges, and feel fear, but they also experience growth, joy, and freedom. Life is meant to be lived, not imagined or postponed. Time also teaches a lesson about forgiveness. Holding on to resentment or guilt only shortens the present's value. By forgiving others and yourself, you release weight and make space for joy and peace. A heavy heart cannot fully embrace life. Choosing forgiveness, even in small ways, allows the present to shine and makes the future possible. One of the most powerful truths is that your choices today shape your story. You cannot control everything, but you can decide how you spend your hours, how you treat people, and how you follow your heart. Each decision, no matter how small, is a step toward a life that matters. Imagine looking back years from now. Will you see a life full of courage, love, learning, and joy, or a life lost in fear, silence, and others' expectations? The difference begins with what you choose today. Time is the most valuable gift you have. Use it wisely. Living fully also means embracing your passions without waiting for validation. Whether it is art, music, travel, helping others, or learning, doing what excites your soul is not selfish. It is essential. Your energy, your happiness, and your fulfillment all depend on honoring what matters to you. Remember, life is short. Every day is an opportunity to move closer to your dreams, to speak your truth, and to forgive and love. Every moment you choose courage over comfort, action over hesitation, and authenticity over pretense, you make your life richer. So, take a deep breath and remind yourself, the clock is ticking, but today is still yours. You have the power to make it meaningful. You have the power to live with courage, honesty, and joy. You have the power to start now. One day, the years will pass quickly. But if you act today, you can fill them with life, not regrets. You can chase dreams, forgive, speak truth, and live fully. Every moment you embrace is a victory over fear and passivity. Let's close with a final message, a reminder for your heart. Conclusion. We have reached the final part of this journey together. Take a moment and breathe. Reflect on everything we have explored. The truths about living for yourself, the courage to face fear, the power of discovering who you truly are, and the freedom that comes from letting go of the past. Life is short, And every lesson we have discussed is a reminder to use the time we have wisely, with purpose, joy, and authenticity. One of the most important lessons is simple yet powerful. Stop living for others. Many people spend years trying to please family, friends, or society. They follow expectations, chase approval, and hide their true selves. They say yes when they mean no, and act in ways that do not feel right in their hearts. The truth is, living for others may feel safe for a while, but it slowly erodes happiness. Freedom and fulfillment come when you choose your own path, not the one others have laid out for you. Fear often keeps people trapped. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of disappointing others. These are heavy chains. But fear is natural, and everyone experiences it. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting even when you are scared. Every small step forward, speaking your truth, following your dream, saying no to what drains you, builds confidence and strength. Each brave choice reminds you that your life belongs to you, not to anyone else. Discovering who you are is another cornerstone of a meaningful life. It takes time and reflection. Simple questions like, "What makes me happy?" or "What makes me feel alive?" help guide your path. Journaling, quiet thinking, or exploring your passions opens doors to your true self. When you know who you are, it becomes easier to make decisions aligned with your heart. You no longer chase empty approval. You chase what truly matters. Living with purpose transforms everyday actions into meaningful experiences. Purpose gives life direction. It lights up ordinary moments with energy and joy. People who live with purpose feel fulfilled, even when life is challenging. They work not for applause, but because their hearts are aligned with their choices. Each small step toward your purpose, whether big or small, is progress. You don't need everyone to understand your path. You only need to believe in it and take action. Letting go of the past is essential to living fully. Guilt, regret, and old mistakes can weigh heavily, keeping people from stepping into their true potential. But the past cannot be changed. What can be changed is how you move forward. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and release the weight that holds you back. Freedom comes when the past no longer controls your heart. Every moment becomes an opportunity to grow, create, and live fully in the present. Living authentically is another powerful step. Being real, honest, and true to yourself brings energy, clarity, and peace. It may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if others do not understand, but authenticity always wins over time. Pretending may protect you temporarily, but it drains your spirit. When you act according to your values, express your feelings, and follow your passions, life becomes lighter, more joyful, and full of meaning. Authenticity also inspires others quietly. Your courage shows them that it is possible to be themselves too. By living for yourself, facing fear, letting go of the past, and acting with authenticity, you naturally inspire others. Small acts of courage ripple outward. Speaking your truth, helping someone take a first step, or simply showing joy in what you love can influence people in ways you may never see. You don't need to change the world. Being yourself already changes lives. One life lived honestly can spark hope and courage in many others. And now, the most pressing truth of all, life is short. Time moves faster than we notice. Childhood, youth, and adulthood pass quickly, often without warning. One day, You may look back and realize years have gone by while you lived someone else's story. That is why it is so urgent to act today. Chase your dreams, speak your truth, forgive, and embrace life fully. Do not wait for the perfect moment or permission from others. Today is yours. Here is a question to reflect on. If today were your last day, would you live it your way or theirs? Think about it. Your answer reveals how aligned your life is with your heart. Every moment you spend pleasing others, hiding your dreams, or fearing judgment is a moment lost. But every moment you choose authenticity, courage, and purpose is a victory, a step toward a life that truly matters. The lessons in this video are simple but powerful. Stop pleasing others. Face your fears. Discover who you are. Live with purpose. Let go of the past. Be authentic. And inspire others simply by being yourself. Each step may seem small, but together they create a life filled with meaning, joy, and freedom. So today, make a choice. Choose to live for yourself. Choose to honor your heart. Choose courage over comfort. Choose purpose over approval. Choose action over hesitation. Life is short. Don't wait for permission to be yourself. Start today. Thank you for watching this video. Remember, learning English is not just about words. It is also about growing, thinking, and living fully. Keep practicing, keep reflecting, and keep taking small steps toward your dreams. Every day is a chance to improve, to be brave, and to live meaningfully. From this moment forward, carry these lessons with you. Let them guide your decisions, your actions, and your relationships. Life is too short to live for anyone else. Your time, your energy, and your heart are precious. Protect them, honor them, and use them to build a life that matters to you. With every choice you make, remember, you are capable, you are worthy, and you are alive for a reason. The world does not need another version of someone else. It needs you, fully, honestly, and courageously.